So we figured out an interesting way to increase scraping with Selenium. Typically, like people will use headless mode, and that works really great. There are stealth plugins that you can use to increase your success rate. But one big issue is that it's kind of a constant cat and mouse game. And when you do headless mode, the browser is a bit different. And with many browser updates, like it's constantly sending off different signals to the website that something's not quite right, especially for websites that employ really strong anti-bot detection. So what we've done is you could, of course, launch it with a GUI present, but for various reasons, if you're doing it remotely on another computer or your own computer, it can kind of get in the way. So one thing that we did was instead of doing headless, we launch it more naturally, but then we use the Windows system API calls, specifically SW hide, to um, hide the GUI interface. So the first one you can see here, we did 44 success, 0 failures, 0 errors. Then same again with headless, only 5 success, 35 failures. So then we thought, maybe the IP got exhausted or something like that. So we ran it again with the hidden GUI, another 40 success. And this was for Google, by the way, which is now, requiring full JavaScript rendering too. And, they're doing quite a lot of things to stop scraping. I explained it a bit here. There's the code here where you can see how it works. Basically, what we're doing is we launch Chrome, then we look for we look for the process IDs, and we start hiding them. You can also launch processes, capture the ID and hide it, but the problem is that Chrome starts sub-processes with new process IDs, so they don't become automatically hidden. So you kind of have to iterate over them anyway. And here's a full working example of that. The code here is how to implement this with Selenium, which I'll also run now and show you. So, you can see we're using these Windows system API calls. So they're quite low level calls, and we're doing it in Python. Oops. So and this makes it much easier to read and access rather than doing it in C++ or something like that. So it's fully available for everyone to use. And here, I'm just going to show you that, so this is the code. There's no coloring in Notepad. So it's a bit hard to read, but it's on the site. And if I run it here, you can see we didn't see any Chrome, and we got a status of 200, and here's the body for example.com. So this is a really great way of increasing your success rate without using headless. So that's where we call it stealthy scraping with SW hide. SW hide is the API function call.